directly through the Cleveland Heights live stream. Obviously, the family here and supporters and friends here with us today as well. I'd like to make a statement regarding the recent grand jury determination not to indict the police officers that were involved in the shooting death of 18-year-old Christian Tyson Thomas. And then we will open it up for any questions you may have. And with me to answer any of those questions I have Police Chief Britton, Captains Lentz, Williams, Senator, and Young, Administrative Lieutenant Corrigan, and Law Director Hanna. So first, I'd like to briefly recap the investigative process that has led us to this point. The City of Cleveland Heights did not play a role in this investigation in order to remove the possibility of conflicts of interest that might inhibit the impartiality of the investigation and damage public confidence in the result of this process. On August 29th, 2024, immediately after the incident occurred, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation was called in to investigate the officer-involved shooting. BCI conducted their investigation until January of 2025, when they turned over the evidence and witness testimony they collected to the Ohio Attorney General's Special Prosecutions Section. Special prosecutions then began their portion of this process, analyzing the evidence and witness statements, and then presenting the evidence and witness statements to a grand jury impaneled in Cuyahoga County, which they did on Thursday of last week. And I will note that although the Special Prosecution Section packages the evidence and presents it to the grand jury, they do not make a recommendation or request either in favor or against indictment. The grand jury reviews the information presented to them and then makes a decision based on the information they've been given, which they did in this case on Friday of last week. Now, I spoke with the two prosecutors from the Office of the Attorney General who were assigned to this case on Friday, and they informed me that the investigative documents from this case, the information presented to the grand jury, will shortly be published on the OAG website. The archived case files from this and all fatal officer-involved shootings can be reviewed at ohioattorneygeneral.gov/special-pages/investigative-documents. I'll repeat that. ohioattorneygeneral.gov/special-pages/investigative-documents. I think it's important to say that even in these terrible circumstances, it is a positive thing that a grand jury made up of Cuyahoga County residents reviewed the evidence in this case and found that Cleveland Heights police officers did not engage in criminal conduct on that night. I have not been able to review all of the documents that led to the grand jury decision, but based on what I have seen, I don't believe that any officers arrived on the scene with the intent to do anyone harm. However, that night ended with irreparable loss. The Tyson and Thomas families have suffered that loss. Christians, friends, and neighbors have suffered that loss. Our entire community has suffered this loss. We lost an 18-year-old Cleveland Heights kid. We lost all of the potential that a young life represents. And there's nothing that this decision can do to ease the pain of that loss. And on behalf of the City of Cleveland Heights, I want to extend love and care to Christians, friends, and family. We have to recognize this pain, no matter the result of this grand jury. And pain is a signal that something needs to be fixed. The City of Cleveland Heights can't fix everything that contributes to violence in our community, but we have to do what we can. In that spirit, I want to announce several initiatives that I'll be introducing in the hopes of preventing tragedies like this in the future. So as you may know, I created the first Bureau of Professional Standards in our police division, and I selected Captain Williams, a peace officer of great integrity and experience, to lead it. I'm instructing Captain Williams to review the case files that will be made available by the Office of the Attorney General regarding this incident in order to complete our internal review of administrative compliance. And in coordination with that analysis, I'm asking Captain Williams to provide me with any recommendations for policy changes that may arise from a review of the investigative documents, which may have an impact on this type of incident in the future. I will also be introducing legislation to create a police review commission in Cleveland Heights, made up of residents who will take on the heavy responsibility of reviewing policies, training, complaints of and investigations into misconduct, disciplinary decisions, commendations, recruitment, and recommendations for appointment and promotion in the police division. It's important for our community's values and priorities to be directly reflected in what is a central responsibility of our local government. If there are ways that police training, policies, and practice can be changed to more closely embrace our community has to be involved in finding those ways. Last year, I made the decision to join Mayor Weiss in Shaker Heights, along with Mayor Thomas in Richmond Heights, Mayor Brennan in University Heights, and Mayor Wheelo in South Euclid in an effort to support law enforcement through the addition of mental health professionals who can respond to emergencies in ways that police can't. We expanded the First Call program into our cities as a regional effort in collaboration with Cuyahoga-County, Metro Health, and Recovery Resources. This program is benefiting our communities, and we are planning to expand into more neighboring cities. But I see a crucial gap in service that Cleveland Heights should seek to fill. The First Call program operates primarily during traditional office hours. Although there is a lot of good that can be done during that time, I believe that it will be even more useful to our community to expand those hours of operation into the night in order to have mental health professionals available to assist in urgent situations that occur outside of a 9-to-5 workday. Whether through our regional partnership or through supplementing with additional local dollars, I will be pushing for additional funding to increase our hours of service for our co-responder model. Lastly, I want to talk about our young people and guns. We failed our children. As a state and as a nation, we've failed our children. We've shown over and over again that we care more about gun manufacturers' profits than we do about our kids' lives. In Ohio, cities have been rendered virtually powerless to regulate guns in our jurisdictions. But maybe we're not being creative enough in our methods. State government has prevented us from addressing the supply of guns, and we have failed at effectively addressing the demand and the behavior around guns in our community. And I'm working to design a new approach to gun safety training, an approach that seeks to begin from a place of respect for the incredible danger that irresponsible gun use presents in our community, and respect for the ability of our young people to really understand that danger if we provide practical and relevant education about responsible gun use. We can look back and see the ineffectiveness of the Just Say No campaign or abstinence-only sex ed. We know that the subjects are more nuanced than those approaches allow for, and that our young folks are not fooled for long by reductive and simplistic demands for compliance. The way that we've addressed this topic of guns hasn't worked either, especially as the prevalence of guns in our community has increased dramatically over the years. I will be working with police, parents, community stakeholders, and gun safety organizations to see if we can develop new ways to educate young people about safe and responsible behavior around guns. And that concludes my remarks. I'd like to open it up for questions.
I think if the family has a question to you, that would be people that deserve to ask the first question more than anyone. Do you guys have anything you want to ask them? At this point, you know, you said your heart goes out to this family, and obviously this situation was multi-layered and difficult to navigate. Do you feel like at this point anything is being done to change how that went down that night to prevent this from happening to someone else?
One thing that I know that I can't do is put myself in the shoes of anybody involved in that situation and think about what they could have or should have done differently, as though I'm some authority on how people should have simply behaved differently, or expect that I would have behaved differently if I actually found myself in that situation. I don't have the arrogance to think that I would have made a perfect decision. What I do know is that the result of that night is a result that we never wanted to see, and a result that we never want to see again. I'm not exactly sure how to perfectly prevent that, but I know that we have to keep trying. And we can't bring him back. And I know that it's not enough honor. It's not enough honor to try to make sure it never happens again. And I don't know that we're going to be successful at that. But I do know that I have to honor that and to honor his memory by doing what I can